Monday. So I have used this page quite often, and I have not went to this part of it. This website and its contents herein, including all data mapping and analyzed, copyright for 2020 Johns Hopkins University, all rights reserved, is provided to the public strictly for educational and academic research purposes. The website relies upon publicly available data from multiple sources that do not always agree. The Johns Hopkins University hereby disclaims any and all representation and warranties with respect to the website, including accuracy, fitness for use, and merchantability. Reliance on the website for medical guidance or use of the website in commerce is strictly prohibited. I don't know what it means, but I guess to sell your product with this is not a nice thing to do. So yeah, it looks like it's still seen there. It's kind of looking good there, so to speak, and I like how they are created total recovered graphics there too. So where should I go from here? So this person, Dr. Richard Cavus, how did you pronounce that name?
Well, for a closer look, we are now reaching out to Dr. Richard Chavus. He is Ontario.
Richard Chavus. So I liked what he commented about this Diamond Princess, and I would like to dare to force you to listen to that point there, because for that reason I searched information about Middle Ages plague ships and information from that plague, and for that reason only, not to compare these things too much, but when I read about this plague, Black Death, we all know, I suppose, that how strongly it affected our ways to use language and use art to picture death and such. The art was really fulfilled with corpses and such from that age of time. So there were one comment one comment that I didn't answer about how's this politics. Of course this is politics, this is pure politics. And what is for my opinion, what is the best side of humanity is how we form the knowledge. Those who are in the highest places in power, users that should know, they ought to know what is the purest form of the truth to behave. They usually don't do that, but the good politician knows what are the tentacles of truth and knows how to lay them in the public that people would behave. The good politician knows how the group of people works. It's not the same as people in here Finland or people in for example America, that small country. We differ as a public, we differ how we react to things. So a good politician knows the differences and gives the information in that form to those publics. Yes. So it's my choice of politics to use this language. Jos mä puhuisin niin kuin savolaiset, ethän siellä ymmärtäisi mitään, mitä minä sanoo. Eihän siinä olisi mitään järkeä, että minä puhuisin tällä tavalla. So when I use the language, it's my choice of politics. For the usage of fonts, the usage of clothes here as seen, the usage of pictures, they are all from the politics to give you the information that they want to present to you. So, well, I have studied cultural things. So where am I going to from here? It was what he is going to say in the place 350. And this is his opinion.
And the Diamond Princess, more than 3,000 people are on board, among them some 200 Canadians, and they're now quarantined. Is quarantining people on a ship the best way to prevent the spread of infection?
Well, this is like something out of the Middle Ages. The whole concept of quarantine goes back to the Middle Ages and misguided efforts to control the plague. And a ship would pull into a harbor with sailors on board with the plague, and the authorities would keep them on the ship till usually all of them died. In the meantime, the rats with the fleas were leaving the ship and going off into the city and spreading the infection. What we're doing to these unfortunate people on the cruise ship makes absolutely no sense. Yes, there have been some cases, but locking them all up together in exactly the kind of environment where a respiratory virus is most likely to spread makes no sense, and there's no telling how long they'll keep them in quarantine. They should check the people for infection. They should let them off the boat. Those who aren't infected, they should let them off the boat, and they should put them under some form of observation for the next 10 days to 2 weeks. That would make far more sense.
Yes. So that is the reason I wanted to search for things from internet. And I am interested about ships and captains and all the power they have there. It's interesting. I would like to ask, how are they going to handle all the feces from these people? There are more than 2,000 of them. How are those handled? And if the air is circulated without proper filtration, it's just a petri dish to spread. Those people in that boat are victims then, aren't they? That's just my guessing, I don't know. So I read from the Japan Times. Coronavirus infections tally on Diamond Princess hits 130 as test for all passengers eyed. I put this down, these videos descriptions, and then I will put the Princess Crisis updates on Diamond Princess, full refund, and future cruise credits. Guests have been provided a letter delivered to their stateroom with details on how to process this refund. Good. So I went to search information about ships, plague ships, quarantines from the Middle Ages, and I checked this list. Verse is a page that you should read it with a grain of salt or such. They use somewhat poetry here and there, but there is also interesting information. So the village that sacrificed itself. In 1665, a tailor from the village of Eyam in Derbyshire, England, ordered clothes from London. When the delivery came, the village received much more than just clothes. It became infected with the plague, which was already laying waste to the capital. People started dying, but they knew the plague hadn't spread to nearby villages, so, led by the clergyman William Mombesson, the villagers decided to quarantine themselves, staying in the plague-stricken town to prevent the disease from spreading. The quarantine began in June 1666. From that point onward, no one could enter or leave the village. Neighboring towns left food at designated places where outside on the village proper. Pre-quarantine, 78 died, and by the end of the plague, that number climbed to 256. Before the townspeople opened their village once again to outsiders, they burned furniture and clothing, hoping to eradicate any traces of the disease that might still lie dormant. The sacrifice was successful. None of the neighboring villages had a single case of the plague. Mombesson lost his wife, Catherine, to the disease, but he himself survived. So perhaps the plague originated in China. But it's not certain what are all those things that caused the plague. Not nice information. But this was teenage Nostradamus became a successful plague doctor. Nostradamus is today largely remembered for his vaguely worded prophecies, but in 1518 he was traveling the French countryside acting as a plague doctor, and he was mere 15 years old. After living his way for several years, he re-enrolled in university and earned his degree in medicine in 1520. He continued to work as a plague doctor, as he was seemingly immune to the disease himself. According to his writings, Nostradamus felt he was doing little good in treating the afflicted because his remedies only made victims comfortable rather than curing them. In actuality, he was one of the first doctors to get it right. Instead of typical medieval treatments like leeches and bleeding, Nostradamus pushed for curing the plague with cleanliness. Patients were encouraged to go outside and get fresh air. He kept those patients and their surroundings clean and disposed probably of infected corpses. He also subscribed to the notion that the plague was caused by bad air, and he developed a spice and rose lorenz that would ease sufferers' symptoms. At one point he had such success curing people on the plague that he was comfortably supported by donations from individuals who lived in the city of Provence. It changed, sorry about that picture, it changed the culture. It had the touch in literature, sorry, I cannot pronounce it right now. So the interesting information here is dogs, the information is here. Dogs have a natural resistance to the plague bacteria, and even if they are bit and are repeatedly exposed, they usually don't become sick, though the case is not the same with cats and rats. So this was the information I was searching for. Death-bringing plague ships. The plague sometimes traveled from one area to another by ship, and this was actually one of the quickest ways in which it spread. In 1347, Italian ships spread the plague from Constantinople to Alexandria to Marseilles and then to Venice, Chenia, I don't know how to say it, and next to the rest of Europe. So it took 5 days when the person had been affected to acknowledge the sickness, and a trading ship could become a death ship for almost a month before anyone on board would have the slightest idea anything was wrong. This is in Finnish here, but the Black Death had very strong effect on how doctors behaved and how the medicine got from philosophy to practical things with doctors, and that's because the philosophy didn't cure the patients, but the practical things they did was effective. And one of the important part of this was hygiene, and it started around this subject, the plague, the hygiene, and was it in the English version of this? Yes, the story, it's not certain, but they are guessing it originated from China. Here's the bug, here's the flea. I'm sorry about those pictures. Black Death was the most devastating pandemic in human history, resulting in the deaths of estimated 2,000 million people in Eurasia. The bacterium Yersinia pestis is believed to have been the cause, but there are another things too. The word plague did not at first refer to the specific illness, and only the recurrence of outbreaks during the Middle Ages gave it the meaning which persists in the modern medicine. The importance of hygiene was recognized only in the 19th century, until the streets were commonly filthy, with live animals of all sorts around and human parasites abounding, facilitating the spread of transmissible disease. Guarantees. Sorry about the pictures. Yes. So, which page should I use next? Here. So, now I remember what I was going to say. They built these health boards because of this black death, and this is something that reoccurs time to time. The importance of our humans' ability to create all sorts of boards, to have a discussion what we can do about these things. And as said before, just moments ago, the streets were filthy and there were live animals. They kept them there and ate them from the streets. So the nice thing we humans have is our culture, and the culture is an animal that is have the opportunity to rebuild itself. So I sure hope that we all have these informations that we are in front of us, and we cannot blame all those Chinese people because the information they got is not as clear as it is here in Europe, for example. There are doctors and nurses that have vanished. We don't know where they are. And before they were vanished, they tried to tell what are the circumstances in China regarding of this novel coronavirus. So we cannot blame Chinese people. But we should have the knowledge what we have now and listen to those who have more knowledge, and keep up with the hygiene habits we have, and re-question our habits, and quit smoking. Smoking affects it so that it gets worse if one has the novel coronavirus. And perhaps eat less meat overall. So if we all eat less meat, not go whole vegan, eat less meat. If we all go less meat, well, is that a word even? Then there would not be as much as animals closed in small cages. And it would be easier to take care of those animals that we grow to be eaten. The point is take care of those animals, their well-being. Yeah. I hope I have said everything. It was stormy night and I have not slept. It's still a bit stormy there outside. Take care of yourself, take care of your hygiene, eat vegetables that has been washed, and let's make our world a better place.